Lady Corbell Holmes. Mr. Bill.
Hello.
What are we doing here?
We're at the SMMT test day.
Mr. Bill, didn't they see our last videos?
I hope so, but for those who didn't, we are here.
Well, welcome to slightly shambolic SMMT reviews.
Haven't got it right, you're one of us. Do you know do you know that you are known? Do you know do you know that you are known? It's important for you to realise that you are not gonna notice every person you ignore.
So here we are in this Alfa Romeo Giulia Quadrifoglio. I'm afraid that's not the only time you're going to hear my terrible Italian accent, viewers. I do apologise. Lloyd Vehicle Consulting t-shirts, mugs and stickers are now available. Please click on the Google link in the description below to purchase your very own. So this car's been out since about 2016. It was facelifted back in 2020, and something happened which I was very excited about at the time, but I won't talk about it right now. So with me in the car today are Mr. Bill and Lady Corbell Holmes from the Fuel Power channel. They're just helping me, just doing a little bit of filming, and we're at the SMMT test day at the Milbert Proving Ground in Bedfordshire. So we're taking this car onto the high-speed bowl, but one of the things that I can tell you about is the engine options available in this car. There was a 2-litre petrol engine, and that had two different power outputs, 200 brake horsepower and 280 brake horsepower. They're both turbocharged units and both 4 cylinders. This car though, it's not got a 4-cylinder engine. It's got the V6, a 2.9 litre unit. It's derived from a Ferrari, and it generates 503 horsepower. 503 horsepower. So here we go onto the high-speed bowl. We're just going to be going on probably the first 2 or 3 lanes. We're not going to go on the outside one because I'm not actually allowed to. So be very, very careful. Make sure nobody's there. There we go. So this limit right here is 40. So let's go into the 50. And there we go. Nice and composed. That might be the assist, viewers. So I need to go into the next lane. There doesn't seem to be many other people around here today. I'm testing out the stability of my camera mount here. I mean, in terms of the driving selector, we're just in what's called natural, which is normal mode. If I put it in that one, that's the sort of more economical one. And then we can go into dynamic. And then if we want to go into this lane here, we go into race mode. So the speed limit on this one is 75 miles an hour. And it feels like driving along on the craziest motorway that I've ever been on. It's really quite remarkable. We're just sort of kind of going along here. It's quite sort of banked, and this feels completely natural to this car. I'm doing 74 miles an hour and I'm not even touching 2,500 RPM. This is an 8-speed automatic gearbox. It's actually specially for this Quadrifoglio trim. There is another 8-speed for the lesser trim levels. I think all Giulias in this country have this automatic gearbox and rear wheel drive. Certainly it just feels really kind of stable and composed. I mean, I'm just going to go down a little speed, just so a more typical motorway speed, about 60, and I might even set the cruise control whilst I'm here. So we turn it on and we can set the cruise control and just feel what it feels like just going on typical motorway speed. So we're in the D mode. I'm going to put it back down into sort of natural, so if the car feels a bit less nervous. We've dropped down to 1500 RPM, so I don't know if that means you're going to get claimed about 33-35 miles per gallon if you do this, but it certainly feels really good. I just feel like I'm cruising along the M1, just on this quite incredible bank. Trim levels available in this car: just a Giulia, Lusso TI, Venero Edizione Speciale, Sprint, Super, Tecnica, Veloce TI, Quadrifoglio, then Quadrifoglio N-Ring. I presume that's going to be the Nürburgring. The trim levels will simplify in 2021, so there are only actually 5 left, which are the Giulia, Speciale, the Veloce, and the Quadrifoglio, and the Super. Those are the only ones that actually remain. With the simplified engine range, they eliminated the diesel engines, and as usual, we don't talk about diesels on this channel. Certainly when you're driving around in a £70,000 Giulia Quadrifoglio, the idea of driving in a forbidden fuel car, it sort of disappears from your mind, and you kind of become like somebody who never wants to drive anything other than an Alfa Romeo ever again. But I'm afraid there are other people who need to drive this car, so we're going to have our fun taken away from us. But what a remarkable car to go on an iconic test track like this. Just absolutely and utterly astonishing. Well, viewers, what a treat. Something I've been looking forward to for a rather long time. This is a 2021, in this case, although it's a 2022 model, I suppose, Alfa Romeo Giulia Quadrifoglio. Hopefully I said that right. My Italian's not really up to scratch, I'm afraid. Do apologise if the phone starts vibrating at some stages. It's the way it goes on this channel, I'm afraid, because we haven't got a lot of time as we're here. Massive 19-inch wheels with only 35 profile tyres. A little clover leaf there for, and this paint, I don't know how it comes across on camera, but this is a beautiful colour. Yellow brake calipers and a huge sort of rear diffuser with quad tailpipes on this car. So many things on here that just suggest this car is really fast, and of course it does 0 to 60 in less than 4 seconds. Carbon fibre spoiler. I suppose we better get some practicality out of the way first. Parking sensors and a reversing camera, of course, quite handy on a saloon. This actually quite a good demonstrator as well, the fact we've got a 400 litre boot. Now that's not as big as something like a BMW 3 Series, but for a car that has this level of performance, it's actually quite practical. So just kind of move that up away a second so we can take a look underneath here. Well, we've got multiple things. Just hold on a second whilst I pull that up. Wow, we've actually got everything just under there. I don't think you can get a spare wheel in this car at all. I'm not sure if there are any 12-volt sockets and things. These are the places for folding the rear seats, just in there, but I might just fold one whilst I'm here. There we go, we'll push that back in a second. Little compartments to the side of here for putting things like, I don't know, warning triangle or something like that in here. See, the battery's just in there. There we go, warning triangle's actually there. Hopefully you won't need that. I gather that these days Alfa Romeo do offer you a 5-year warranty. There's the reversing camera just there. Just go around to the left rear door here. There we go. VED, well, we won't worry about that in this, because if we worry about things like this, you really shouldn't be looking at a car like this Giulia Quadrifoglio. Got air vents in the back here, USB port, that's quite handy. Is it going to feel nice, this leather? Yes, it does. It feels absolutely wonderful. And we've even got some cup holders in here to make sure this seat that I pulled earlier on is secure after I folded it down. There we go. You can just fold them down. It actually got quite practical there. It's 40, 20, 40. Although I'm a little bit concerned when I fold that seat back that this lovely green seat belt is going to get trapped. And that would not be good, viewers. We'll just see if we can... Ah, no! Oh, it's not so bad. I'll look at the Isofix covers and see if they're hinged. Yes, that's a really practical design actually to have them hinged. To stop all the stuff getting in, but also you can't lose them. And so many cars I've actually tried over the years, the Isofix covers come off and, you know, they are not really ideal. Headroom's actually pretty good in here. Plenty of room to put the feet underneath the seats. I'm only 5'11", so I'm not the tallest person really. But the headroom's actually really good. It's surprisingly good in this car. It's much better than I expected. Now the angle of the door is really good, but the thing is that the aperture is not particularly wide. So if you are getting things like car seats in the back of one of these, and of course, you know, you can use this as a family car, why not? And just something to bear in mind. The headline is quite dark in here and the seats are dark, although I think this is actually real leather, which is really nice. Obviously in a car which costs around £70,000, you would expect nothing but the best, and indeed this is something that you get in details like this sort of carbon fibre effect around the interior door handles, the green and white stitching, and the fact that everything feels really, really nice. We've even got bottle holders in the back of here, so you know, if you need an energy drink or something like that to stimulate you as you are being driven around an alpine circuit, then you can have it. Let's take a look at the front. See Mr. Bilber getting in the back, getting some extra shots. There we go. We've actually got keyless entry in this car as well. Ferrari kind of inspired stuff in here, and that seat is very, very figure hugging. I think I might be slightly too big for this seat actually. That's not good. Oh well. Fits me snugly anyway. Volume control is down here, which is good for the entertainment system. We've actually got a physical control rather than having to use the touchscreen if we don't want to. That I think is for the dynamic drive selector. In fact, we can just do something with that. Light it up. There we go. D and A. Dynamic. We've got a natural, and the A is actually a form of kind of sort of fuel saving measure on this. But we've also got race mode, which will deplete your fuel reserves rather quickly if you use that. Home button for this system, and it can see sort of where we are. There's the navigation and everything like that. It's kind of sort of Mercedes or BMW like in a way, this system. One thing I'm very thankful for is the fact that this car has actually got physical controls for the climate control system, and it is a dual zone, of course. You'd expect that in a car like this. We do actually have cup holders in here. They're quite big cup holders too. Let's see if we got things in here. That looks like a wireless charging pad. That's pretty good. And we've got, wow, that's 3 USB ports and 1 USB-C and an aux in. Who would have thought that Alfa Romeo made really practical cars, but it sounds like they do. And for that I'm very, very thankful. Automatic wipers. And I think the light switch is possibly here. Yeah, automatic lights. Wonder what this storage compartment is down here. I'll just sort of change hands. Oh, it's felt lined. That's quite nice. Electric mirror controls, of course, they are power folding as well. Window switches, I think, are out of maybe a Dodge Dart or something like that. I've heard that they are, but I might be wrong about that, viewers. But that's the one thing on the interior. It doesn't quite feel that it should belong in a £70,000 car. Look at these metal panels. They actually feel quite cold because it is only April, and Sometimes in the morning they get cold, and that feels ever so nice. That's lovely. I'll leave the door open so we can start the engine whilst we're here using the big red button.
You okay, sir? Still a car coming in.
Okay, let's shut the door because we're in the middle of this stand, and you know, it's a bit crazy here. But even with the window open, there we go, window open, you can kind of hear something burbling away in here, and we'll just sort of very quickly just sort of cycle through some of the things in here. Got volume controls and things like that for this, for stereo on here, cruise control, adaptive cruise control actually in this car. So if we kind of go through this sort of system like this, would it actually kind of do something on this screen, or do we just have to leave it? We'll just leave that for a second and have a look at this. So go to home here, which is on the radio, phone. Let's go to nav and see what that does. There we go. It doesn't look like too bad a system, this actually. It's not sort of BMW iDrive or anything like that, but it looks pretty easy. You know, this is a reasonably intuitive system, and the back is just over there. Just use that home button. There we go, and we can also use this button here to go to the settings. There we go. So screen brightness, that kind of stuff. Widgets, eh? The last time I heard about widgets was a program called Through the Dragon's Eye on BBC in 1989. Anyway, that's a reference that you don't need to know about. We turn the screen off, we don't want to do that really. And we look at the phone. The climate we can actually operate through here as well. The driver assistance, I can look at the safety systems of this car. Blind spot monitoring, visual and acoustic. Lane departure warning with sensitivity, yes. Forward collision warning, hopefully we won't need anything like that. Speed limiter is off, yes, we don't want that. Parking sensors, yes. The rear view camera, can we just have a look at it now, or no? Should you just have any settings? There we go, there is the reversing camera on the Giulia Quadrifoglio. One thing I don't... Yeah, oh, you just go like that, okay, you just put it to the left and it goes back. Automatic high beam, fantastic. Loads of really useful little things on this car. Performance, technical gauges, 2.9 bar, oil, boost is 0, torque is between 8 and 9 Newton meters, connected services, and the vehicle information. It's done 5,000 miles. I think this press car has actually been around for at least sort of 6 months or so, so that's not surprising people wanting to take it out and drive it, you know. I would. So once you get used to the system, it's actually not too bad. The middle thing, I'm not entirely sure how this actually kind of works. I can't see any buttons on here that make that central display work, but you know, never mind. Turn the engine off, and I think we'll try some secret mission document storage. Right, I shall pass these to Mr. Bill and see if my secret mission documents go in.
It's not.
Oh!
No.
No!
Does it fit in the pot? Just kind of.
You'll have to just leave them there for me, sir.
I'll have to
I'm
do.
so disappointed. After all this thing and waiting over 6 months to drive this car, we almost fought it at the last second. Oh well, let's have a look under the bonnet whilst we're here. One thing I don't really like about this car though is the one-touch indicators, which are an absolute pain. I really don't like these one-touch indicators. They are absolutely terrible. Really terrible. I think personally I don't really need 503 horsepower throughout my entire driving experience every day. I mean, I'd like 503 horsepower, don't get me wrong viewers, but I don't think I need it. I think I'd just be perfectly happy to drive one of the 2 litres, just the standard 200 horsepower one. And that would be quite enough for me. I will just try these paddles whilst I'm here because, well, it's sort of fun, isn't it? Anyway, Thank you ever so much indeed for watching this episode of Slightly Shambolic SMMT Reviews. Thank you to Mr. Bill and Lady Cornwall Holmes for coming along for the ride, literally. Please don't forget to subscribe to the channel, like this video, leave a comment below. And for one remarkable car to the next, as we shamble round the SMMT test day here at Millbrook.
Every time you haven't got it right, you're one of us. Do you know?